everyone, welcome to the video lecture series of operating system. In today's session, we are going to start a new topic which is virtualization. Myself Krunal Panchal, your instructor. In this particular session, we are going to discuss the concept of virtualization, in which first of all we will discuss virtual machine, and simultaneously we are going to discuss hypervisor also. Okay, so let us start with virtualization, in which the first topic is virtual machine. But before going to discuss virtual machine, you must know about the meaning of virtual. Okay, so virtual word means what? It is not real. It looks like real, but it is not actually real. Fine. So that virtuality we are going to discuss with respect to computer system. So suppose if I am giving you an example to understand the concept of this virtual machine, like all of you have desktop or case a laptop at your home, and many of you have Windows operating system as a host operating system in your machine. Fine. So if you require another operating system, like say for example Linux, in your machine, so what you are doing right now, so what you can do is, one way is through which you can first of all remove the Windows from the machine and reinstall the Windows and Linux operating system in your machine. Means what? You are going for dual OS. Okay, but there is one disadvantage when we are talking about dual operating system. It means suppose once you install dual operating system, one is Windows and one is Linux, and right now say for example you are working in Linux and you suddenly require some functionality of Windows operating system. So at that time you need to restart your machine and again need to log in with the Windows. Okay, to resolve this issue, if you want to work with two operating system simultaneously, so what you can do is, in that case the virtualization or virtual machine concept come into the picture. So what you can do is, suppose if you have Windows in your machine and if you want to install one more operating system in your machine, so what you can do is, instead of going for dual operating system, what you can do, you need to use one software which provides to install multiple VMs or multiple virtual machines in your system. So that software is nothing but there are various softwares we have. One is VMware, you can say. Second one is Oracle VirtualBox we have. Fine. So there are various virtualization software is available in the market. Fine. So you can use any of that, because Oracle VirtualBox is freely available. VMware is available, so you can easily download it from the internet and install it in your machine. So what you need to do is, so if you want to use Linux operating system, say for example Ubuntu, in your machine with Windows, and Windows is already installed, so what you can do is, you need to install first this Oracle VirtualBox software. Once you install successfully on this particular software, by using this software you need to install the Ubuntu operating system. Means what? This software allows to install one more operating system in your machine. So that VirtualBox, that software is nothing but hypervisor. Fine. So let us discuss all these things in detail. So let us discuss first of all what is virtual machines. So the fundamental idea behind a virtual machine is to abstract the hardware of a single computer. Means what? If you, as I told you, if you have one laptop at your home, and laptop contains various types of hardware, like a computer system, or you can say a laptop contains one CPU, then memory, hard disk drives, network interface card, and many other devices you have. Fine. So a fundamental idea behind a virtual machine is what? Is to abstract the hardware of a single computer into several different execution environments. Into several means what? By using single machine, by using single type of hardware, we are going to provide several different execution environments. Hence, we can create the illusion. Hence, because of this, we can create the illusion that each separate execution environment is running its own private computer. Means even though you have single computer, okay, by using the concept of virtual machine, you can have the illusion. By installing multiple operating systems, you'll have illusion that you are working on different operating systems simultaneously. Fine. So this is the idea about virtual machine. So in this particular figure, you can see one person is there, and I hope you have heard about the concept of virtual reality. Okay, it is very important concept in computer world. So virtual reality. So what it means, this person is reading what virtual reality head machine, and by using that machine, the person is watching one video, and he feels like he is in that video, but actually he is not in that video. Okay, so it feels like you are that environment is nearer to you, but actually the thing is different. Fine. So this is all about the virtual reality, the concept of virtual reality. So let us concentrate on virtual machine with respect to computer system. So as I told you, once you have the Windows operating system, on Windows operating system you need to install one VirtualBox software. Once you install VirtualBox software, that is nothing but hypervisor, as I told you. And once you install this hypervisor, you can install the various operating system that you want in your machine. You can easily install it. Fine. So say for example, if you have one Windows, and if you want to install three different types of Linux operating system with the help of this VMware or say VirtualBox software, you can easily install it. Yes. So how we can do it? Let us discuss that stuff. So in this particular figure, you need to concentrate. So before going to use the concept of virtual machine, suppose if we have traditional machine, and how traditional machine look like. So you can see in the first figure, at bottom side we have bottom level at we have hardware, computer hardwares. Fine. We are talking about traditional machines without using the concept of virtual machine in this case, in the first figure. Fine. Then on the hardware we have kernel of operating system, and on the operating system we have through various application programs we are running various processes. Fine. So this is traditional operating system working we have seen. Now in second, look at second figure, in which the bottom layer we have same layer we have computer hardware. Okay, and on the hardware we have installed as I told you virtual machine implementation software. Means what? We have installed Oracle VirtualBox, that is nothing but hypervisor. Fine. So on the hardware we have installed operating system, and on operating system on the hardware we have installed Windows operating system, and on Windows operating system we have installed this VirtualBox, or you can say virtual machine implementation we have used. That software we have used. Once we have downloaded successfully, then with the help of this VirtualBox, okay, we can install multiple operating system as I told you earlier. Suppose if you want to install three different flavors of, say for example, Linux operating system, like one is Ubuntu, second one is Fedora, and third one is Red Hat. These three different types of Linux operating system that you want to install with the help of this VirtualBox software, you can easily install. So what you need to do is, with the help of this VirtualBox software, you need to create various virtual machines. So you can see VM1, VM2 and VM3 is nothing but virtual machine 1, 2 and 3. And once you created this virtual machine, you can install the various operating system that you want to install. You can easily install. Like say for example, in VM1 you have installed, say for example, Ubuntu. In VM2 you have installed, say for example, Fedora. And VM3 you have installed Red Hat Linux operating system. Fine. So means what, while installing this operating system, each and every virtual machine require some space. So total hard disk space is available, and out of total hard disk space, some space is already occupied by the Windows, that is our primary operating system. Fine. So already occupied by the Windows, and now at the time of installing the operating system, Linux operating system, we need to have some amount of space. So that we need to assign at runtime while you are installing that virtual machine. At that time, we need to assign some portion of the hard disk which is free. That needs to be allocated to VM1. The remaining portion needs to be given to VM2 and so on. Okay. So once you assign these space to virtual machines, then afterwards you can successfully install the 3 operating system on existing Windows. Fine. So, and each virtual machine will have its because now we have total 4 operating system. One is primary operating system and second one is secondary operating system. As far as primary operating system is concerned, we have Windows, and secondary operating system is in which we have 3 versions of Linux: Ubuntu, Fedora and Red Hat. So 3 operating system we have installed. So definitely each and operating system has its own kernel. Yes, so kernel, you can see VM1 has its own kernel, VM2 has its own kernel, VM3 has its own kernel of the operating system. And on the kernel we have various application programs. So we have different processes. Application programs are nothing but we called as processes in terms of operating system. Fine. So various processes we have. So in this case, once you have this hierarchy in your mind, now you can think about it. On primary side, we have Windows operating system. So we have 2 types of mode in operating system. One is user mode and second one is kernel mode, that we already understood in the previous sessions, that you need to recall. Otherwise, you can go to that video and watch that video carefully, and then you can see this later part of this particular session, so that things will be more clear. So as far as VM1 is concerned, so VM1 has its own kernel and its processes, VM2 has its own kernel and its processes, and same way in the case of VM3. So now the concept is what, as I told you, these, in the case of user mode and kernel mode, so as far as virtual machine software that we have installed, that is nothing but a VirtualBox, Oracle VirtualBox that we are talking about. Fine. So VirtualBox software would be considered as always it runs in the kernel mode of the operating system. Okay, and the virtual machine itself runs in runs in user mode. So it means what? The Windows operating system, that is nothing but our primary operating system, okay, on which we have installed this virtual machine software. This virtual machine software also runs in kernel mode, okay, kernel mode of the primary operating system. And the virtual machine that we have created, VM1, 2 and 3, these different virtual machines runs in user mode. Fine. So just as the physical machine has two modes, like as I told you, user mode, and second one is kernel mode. So these VMs works in user modes, and this virtual machine software or this hypervisor runs in kernel mode. Okay. Consequently, we must have, in the case of individual, or say each virtual machine, consequently we have one because this kernel mode and user mode we have discussed so far, it is talking about general scenario. But now if you are looking at a particular virtual machine, so you can see the first block of VM1, which contains setup processes, kernel and VM1, that look like one single operating system. Okay, it is isolated from each other. Means what? These different VMs are isolated from each other. Okay, they are not dependent. Fine. So each VM definitely has its own kernel and the user mode, kernel mode and user mode. Yes. So that kernel mode and user mode we called as, in the case of virtual machine, is nothing but a virtual user mode, and second one is virtual kernel mode. Fine. So for each virtual machine we have virtual kernel mode and virtual user mode. So both of which, means this virtual kernel mode and virtual user mode, both of which runs in a physical user mode. This is very important sentence that you need to keep in your mind. Both of which runs in a physical user mode. Means what? As I told you, virtual machine works in a user mode. So definitely these two virtual mode will definitely work on the user mode, physical user mode, not virtual user mode. Fine. So this is all about the virtual machine and hypervisor. So in this, so definitely it is cost-effective approach as compared to a dual operating system. This is cost-effective approach. That is one advantage of virtual machine strategy. Second one is definitely these virtual machines are independent in nature. Fine. So even though it works on a single operating system, but it looks like they have separate machines in which they have installed these various types of Linux operating system. It provides illusion. This concept of virtualization provides illusion to the user that different operating system works in a different machines, okay, instead of single machine. So what are the disadvantages of this? Definitely these the slave operating systems are dependent on the masters. Means what? The secondary operating system that we have installed with the help of virtual machine, they are dependent on the primary operating system. If primary operating system is crashed, all things would be crashed. Right. So this is all about the concept of virtualization. I hope it was clear to you. Thanks for watching this video. See you in the next one.